Welcome once again to our International Women's Day webinar themed Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, endorsed by UN Women. Today, we celebrate women's incredible contributions to the tourism industry in Africa while addressing the barriers they face. Let's unite to empower women, advocate for change to create more sustainable jobs and entrepreneurship, and drive progress towards gender equality and inclusive and sustainable future. Without any further ado, I have the pleasure to invite you to watch Ms. Zorica Urozevic, UN Tourism Executive Director, delivering her welcome remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to this special webinar, and thank you for joining us International Women's Day. At UN Tourism, we are delighted to be making it with you, our African member states, as we share our knowledge with each other and energize ourselves for the road ahead. It is 14 years since the world came together at the United Nations General Assembly and agreed to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls by this year 2030 with the 2030 Agenda. Time is running out for us to achieve this goal, and we in tourism sector need to step up our efforts. The official UN focus for this 8th of March is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Investing in women is a human right imperative and key to achieving an inclusive sector, tourism. In our most recent global study, we found that women make up majority of the tourism workforce at 54%. In Africa, that figure was even higher, the highest of any world region at 69%. But we as well know it is not all at the top that we find most of these strong and empowered women who drive our sector forward. We are concentrated in lower skilled, lower paid, and other informal work. And while men take up most of the higher management and CEO positions, women are faced with less opportunities for career progression, more difficulties when they try to open a business, and higher barriers to education and training. But there are some encouraging signs. More recent analysis has indicated that number of women working in African tourism has increased, and in 2021, women made up 70% of the workforce. Investment in tourism and in women has contributed to this upward trend. Today, we are going to hear from some of the best initiatives that have been implemented by government, businesses, academia, and statisticians. We will learn about initiatives from the Women in Tourism Leadership Africa Committee, led by our Regional Department for Africa, and the work that is helping to keep gender equality at the top of the tourism agenda. I am also delighted to announce that African member states are now able to join the flagship UN Tourism Center Stage program, which was piloted in 2022 in the Middle East and Latin America. As part of the Center Stage program, we support you to implement a tailored one-year action plan that will keep progress moving in the right direction. Today, we say it's time to invest. Invest our time, invest our efforts, and invest financially in the women of tourism. We hope you will leave the webinar today feeling inspired to do just what and with some excellent ideas on how to go about it. Have a lovely Women's Day.
Thank you, Ms. Zorica Urozevic, UN Tourism Executive Director, for your enlightening remarks on the urgency of investing in women and underlying the challenges and opportunities. We need really to help women that are in the majority concentrated in the lower paid bracket group. We need to invest our time, we need to invest in our women and invest in all areas. Let's observe the call of action that Ms. Zoritsa is calling us to do, aligned with the SGD 5, and move forward purposely. Now, our next speaker, Ms. Ezia Grandcourt, UN Tourism Director for Africa. Please, you're invited to share your introductory remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Lydia. Happy International Women's Day to all of us gathered here today, and as well as those of you connecting from afar. Welcome to the session. And today, as was said earlier, we will be celebrating and discussing this year's theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. And I would like to thank each and every one of you, including the men that are supporting us in driving the work that we do. A special thank you to all the speakers alongside myself and the Executive Director. Today, we will be welcoming contributions from Her Excellency, Mrs. Nabila Farida Tunis, Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs of Sierra Leone, Chef Fatma Binta, who's already connected here with us today. She is the founder of Dine on a Mat and the Culinary Kitchen Foundation, but also UN Tourism Ambassador, as well as Mrs. Susana Garrido Valiente, who is from the Le Roche Global Hospitality School. I cannot forget our dear friend and colleague, Ben Owen, who will be expanding on the topic of Center Stage, the program that Zoritsa just alluded to. So our presence here today, all of you, it underscores the importance of the collective efforts to empower women and drive progress in the tourism sector. And this day holds significant importance as we reflect on the remarkable contributions of women worldwide. Women make up 47% of the workforce worldwide, but despite this representation, they continue to face significant barriers to advancement and equal opportunities. According to ILO, out of every 5 jobs created for women, 4 are within the informal economy, whereas for men, the ratio is 2 out of every 3 jobs. In Africa, the situation is no different. In fact, women constitute a surprising 69% of the workforce in the tourism industry alone, mostly in hospitality and travel sectors. And this figure represents the countless women who contribute their talents, creativity, and dedication to driving the growth and success of our tourism sector. Yet, the majority find themselves in lower paid jobs. But behind these numbers lies stories of resilience, determination, and empowerment. Women in Africa, we are not just workers, we are entrepreneurs, we are leaders and change makers, driving innovation and shaping the future of our continent. And despite the progress, we still have a long way to go. And while the number of women ministers is on the rise, today, I'm happy to say that we have a total of 17% African women tourism ministers compared to 34 men ministers. There still remains a gender gap in leadership positions, but it's imperative that we continue to advocate for gender equality and to empower women to take on leadership roles across all sectors. Moreover, findings from the UN Global Report on Women in Tourism that was published in 2019 sheds light on the challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. Many women entrepreneurs either work as individuals in partnership with their spouses or collectively with other women. They often work as attendants, retailers, vendors, or simply supporting family businesses, usually with little or no pay. So while women entrepreneurs are increasingly becoming mobilized, women in Africa are still constrained by limited financial access to startup capital and a lack of key resources, such as land that works as collaterals to acquire loans. So women's education and training are indispensable for attaining meaningful employment opportunities in the tourism sector. However, ensuring access to quality training remains a prevalent challenge in our region, especially compared to the other regions, because skill gaps persist across various levels of employment in tourism, spanning from entry-level positions to executive management roles in small and medium enterprises in both the public and the private sectors. While there are successful training programs available, they often remain out of reach for many of our African women and girls due to financial constraints and other societal barriers. Therefore, it is imperative that we rewrite this narrative by prioritizing investment and tourism education, two core priorities of UN tourism. Together with training programs that are accessible and inclusive, our objective is to enable women and girls across the continent to unlock their full potential and secure dignified employment opportunities in the tourism sector. Additionally, if we look at the issue of the gender pay gap, this also needs to be addressed. According to data from UN Women in sub-Saharan Africa, women earn 40 to 46% less than men in urban areas, with the gender pay gap reaching 30% compared to 24% globally. So closing this gap requires concerted efforts to address the underlying inequalities and ensure fair and equal compensation for women's work. So today, dear friends, as we convene, we aim to define new actions building upon the key areas that came out of some past surveys that we conducted spanning over 19 African countries. Priorities such as capacity building, leadership, entrepreneurship, finance access, gender policies, and digitalization underscored the urgent need for formalizing businesses, enhancing leadership skills, improving marketing strategies, and facilitating finance access, as well as enhancing gender statistics. Here, allow me also to thank Her Excellency, Minister of Sierra Leone, for steering the Women in Tourism Leadership for Africa Committee in advancing women's empowerment through tourism. In the coming weeks, we will be communicating to our members, to our ministers, to our partners, stakeholders, also from the private sector, on some key initiatives that we're charting for the year. So in conclusion, I invite you all to join us in reaffirming our commitment to advancing gender equality and women's empowerment in the tourism sector. Together, we can create a more inclusive and sustainable future for all. I wish you all a lovely day, and let's continue to celebrate ourselves. Thank you to you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ezia Grandcourt, UN Tourism Regional Director for Africa, for your remarkable introductory remarks. And she really put to the fore the women's successes of the region in Africa, but also what are still the barriers and challenges ahead, such as gender pay gap, gap in leadership positions, and to address also the skill gap in the region. And she beautifully put to the fore as well the initiatives of UN Tourism, such as the Women in Tourism Leadership Africa Committee and the Center Stage program that can really respond adequately and to change the narrative and to elevate women in the tourism sector. So thank you very much once again, Madam Director. And I invite on this note all participants connected online to put your camera on for a beautiful group picture. So I think, is it done? Thumbs up, it's done. Thank you very much for our technical team in the background. Before we would like now to welcome Our next esteemed speaker, Her Excellency Nabila Farida Tunis, the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs of Sierra Leone, and chair of the Women in Tourism in Leadership Africa Committee, to share her vision and valuable experience on empowering women in the tourism sector. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nabila Tunis, and I'm the Minister for Tourism and Cultural Affairs of Sierra Leone. And I'm happy to be here today on a day that means a lot for us women, the International Women's Day for 2024. And I use this opportunity to extend my warmest greeting to all esteemed members of the UN tourism community. It is with great pleasure that I join all of you today to celebrate the International Women's Day 2024. Allow me to extend a heartfelt greeting to members of WITLAC and their constituents, acknowledging their unwavering dedication, commitment, and support in advancing women's productive spaces. In Sierra Leone, every woman has a productive space in the tourism industry. We are all familiar with the diverse contributions women make to the economy, from their roles as entrepreneurs to their indispensable work in formal employment and unpaid caregiving duties. However, what many may not realize is the profound impact that empowering women can have on economic prosperity. Studies have shown that closing gender gaps and investing in women could potentially increase GDP per capita by a remarkable 20%. Moreover, by expanding work opportunities and addressing existing disparities services, we could see the creation of over 300 million jobs by 2035. Let us not overlook the significant role that women play in the creative industries, including fabric production, gastronomy, handicrafts, and artisanal pursuits. Their unique talents and innovative designs not only contribute to economic growth, but also enrich cultural heritage. Authentic and exclusive creations crafted by women hold a special value in today's market. The tourism and hospitality sector, in particular, stands out for its higher representation of women in employment and entrepreneurship, especially in regions like Africa, where women comprise up to about 69% of the tourism workforce. In Sierra Leone, women account for over 60% of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in tourism, showcasing their pivotal role in driving this sector forward. However, despite these advancements, significant barriers continue to hinder women's full participation and benefit from tourism. Complex legal frameworks, limited access to markets, and inadequate financial resources pose formidable challenges. Recognizing these obstacles, the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs initiated a comprehensive research to identify key barriers faced by women in the industry. In response, our ministry, the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, launched an ambitious initiative in 2022 to invest heavily in women in tourism. Through tailored training and mentorship programs, women entrepreneurs are equipped with the necessary skills in business management, planning, and development. I am delighted to announce that over 800 women have successfully graduated from these programs, empowering them to expand their businesses and increase their income. Indeed, every woman has a productive space in Sierra Leone's tourism industry. This investment exemplifies the theme of International Women's Day this year, 2024. Certainly, progress will be accelerated when we invest in our women. By amplifying the voices and contributions of women in tourism, we pave the way for inclusive growth and prosperity. Moreover, the financial stability of women has far-reaching implications for community, national, and global peace. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our ladies out there, as we gather here today, I urge all participants to join us in making a greater investment in building the capacity of women in the tourism sector worldwide. The return on investment with impact is significant, not only in economic terms, but also in fostering a more equitable and peaceful society. Let us continue to collaborate through platforms like WITLAC, sharing knowledge and driving policy action to support women in tourism. Together, we can unlock the full potential of women as catalysts for sustainable development and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this fantastic and inspired speech by Her Excellency Nabila Farida Tunis, Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs of Sierra Leone. She said every woman in Sierra Leone has a productive space in the tourism sector, and she really underlines the need to invest much more in building the capacity of women in the region. And collaboration is key to unlock the potential of women as they play a pivotal role in the tourism sector. Closing the gender gap could boost GDP per capita by 20%, emphasizing the need to amplify women's voices for progress. Initiatives such as this recent certification in Sierra Leone with 800 women entrepreneurs being certified and trained. This is remarkable. And the future actions of the Women in Tourism Leadership Africa Committee, led by her, will highlight transformative efforts and concrete actions, which reflects totally the visionary leadership of the minister. So to continue on this road of inspiration, I invite our next speaker, Executive Chef Fatmata Binta, CEO of Fulani Kitchen Foundation and UN Tourism Ambassador on Sustainable Tourism. Please, Chef Binta, you have the floor.
Good morning, esteemed speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a pleasure to be here for a cause we're all very much passionate about. Investing in women, I think it's something very important now more than ever. I will share with you some of the work we've been doing and how I believe this can inspire change. Just a minute. Investing in women to accelerate progress provides a platform for women's voices in Africa and capacity building. It's been a privilege working closely with women in rural areas in Africa. So for me, I believe I cannot overemphasize the importance of investing. As we celebrate also the International Women's Day today and every other day, I encourage everyone to reflect on the importance and also the urgency to invest in women. Some of the reasons why we should invest are also some of the challenges that we pose. And I would like to highlight some of the reasons why. Diversification, for example, is very important in the tourism sector. The more we diversify, the more we grow. Women's participation in the tourism industry can help diversify the sector by bringing in diverse perspectives, skills, transfer training, and experiences. This can inspire new services that cater to a wider range of travelers' interests and local experiences. Some of the work we've been doing in Ghana and around the world is hosting culinary experiences to inspire aspiring chefs and also just young cooks around the world. And also, I believe that can foster economic growth. So for example, by investing in women, in women's training programs, education, and entrepreneurship in the tourism sector, more job opportunities can be created, leading to economic empowerment and poverty reduction in Africa. Also, community building, it's very important because there's so much we learn from the custodians, the gatekeepers of gastronomy, farming, best practices when it comes to agriculture. So that's why our local communities, especially in rural areas, are very, very important to invest in. Women continue to foster community resilience anyway, as farmers, entrepreneurs, caregivers, chefs, and knowledge custodians. So by investing in women involvement in tourism, including skills and support also for women-led initiatives and businesses and community-based tourism initiatives, local communities can benefit from increased income, infrastructure development, rural development, and improved living standards. And also sustainability, because if you think about the SDGs, especially the number five SDG, sustainable tourism practices are very crucial for that. Women are often stewards of natural and cultural resources in their communities. So investing in women's participation in tourism can promote sustainable practices that conserve the environment, food security, preserve cultural heritage, and respect for local customs and traditions, which most times attracts travelers, like eco-friendly travelers, and just traveling and tourism within our continent and also within local communities. And then also empowerment. Some of the things we've been doing is growing fonio, which is an ancient grain. It's gluten-free, it's drought resistant, but it's also a forgotten crop, which a lot of mechanization hasn't been invested in. And then also decolonization also hasn't happened because most people are stuck with the fast pace of eating and the habits of eating today. So I think investing in agriculture, agrotourism, is very, very important because also that creates empowerment and also gender equality. Fonio, for example, is considered a female crop, but mostly in these communities, you find it's grown by men, and then the women hardly play a role, only the tedious part when it comes to processing it. So we need men, definitely. Collaboration is important in every sector. But investing in women, I think, is very important because we are naturally caregivers. We nurture. And I think if we nurture women, you nurture a nation. So equality also, that boosts equality. So by investing in women empowerment, providing them with equal opportunities for training, empowerment, employment, leadership also roles in tourism. Because if you go to these local communities, if you want to make your work move forward, you have to find the most influential woman. Even in the local markets in Africa, if you go there in the morning very early, you always find that one woman that will come and say, today the price of rice is, let's say, $1. And there's nothing you can do about that. So it just shows you how important women's voices are. So if you empower them, you empower a nation. So training is important. Leadership in tourism is important because then we can create more inclusive and equitable tourism destinations and can also help address gender disparities. Overall, investing in women to accelerate progress in Africa and in tourism is not only beneficial for the tourism sector itself, but also for promoting broader economic development, community empowerment, and gender equality across the continent. So today and every other day, I encourage you to invest in women, promote tourism, promote leadership, empowerment, and we will grow as a nation. You empower a woman, you empower a nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Executive Chef Fatima Binta. As you so beautifully said, if you empower a woman, you empower a nation. And your presentation is so much enriching. And the celebration of African gastronomy amplifies the voice of rural women, emphasizing the significance of preserving their authentic culinary traditions such as fonio. Gastronomy not only connects us to culture, but also paves the way for sustainable futures. Sharing a piece of Africa with the world as you really do it so beautifully. So we want to thank you. And as you also said, the more we diversify, the more we grow. And invest in women, education, entrepreneurship can create much better opportunities and sustainable jobs. Thank you very much, Chef Fatma Binta. Now, building upon the intervention by Chef Fatmata Binta, let us delve deeper into the role of academia in advancing women's empowerment in the tourism sector. You are so privileged today to have with us Mrs. Susana Garindo, Professor and Senior Lecturer and Spark Director of Innovation at La Roche, who will share with us her expert viewpoints on this crucial aspect. Please, Mrs. Garindo, you're invited to present.
Thank you, Lydia, and thank you, the UNWTO, for organizing this amazing opportunity, this amazing seminar with wonderful speakers, and happy International Women's Day to, to all of us, why not? So let me share my screen. And first of all, in the role of, while I connect this, I think it's an important piece to consider. I think that Elsia Grancourt was already mentioning it earlier, and also Chef Binta was mentioning how important education is to empower women. So many of the things that we do actually they come from education, and they come because we have learned to do things that way. So this is why it is education is a key part in empowering women. So we're going to see why. So like I said,
the microphone, please, Susana.
Oh, sorry. Perfect.
Yes.
Better. So the challenges really in the tourism sector is that there is women, we are, like Chef Binta was mentioning as well, we are caregivers, and we have this amazing way of caring for everyone around this. So, but it's not only that. I mean, we have women represent a lot of roles in tourism sector, but not in leadership. So we have a lot of women working in tourism, but not as leadership roles. So this is a challenge that we are facing. And also sometimes there are difficulties in accessing career advancing opportunities. So this is why academia is going to play a huge role. It's not only about studying the theories and the concepts, but it's about breaking social barriers and creating equal opportunities for women. So like I mentioned here, so how does academia specifically empower women in tourism? And some of the ways in which this is done is through academic programs, which is the first thing that we think from the top of our minds. Because in these programs, women gain knowledge and expertise in many aspects of the tourism industry, of course, from hospitality management to sustainable tourism practices. But and this education equips the women with the skills and the confidence as well. So it's not only about the skills and the knowledge, but it's the confidence to pursue a leadership position and an entrepreneurial venture as well.
Susana,
yes,
our colleague can help you. They can share your presentation on the screen, and then you can just speak and tell them next slide. Maybe.
Okay, that's super fair.
Yes,
that's super.
Okay, just a moment. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Perfect. So it will be yeah, perfect. So it will be the next slide then. Thank you. Fantastic. So this is how academia can empower women. Okay, so it's going to be knowledge and expertise in the tourism industry. Also the acquisition of skills and confidence, like I was mentioning a little bit before, to pursue leadership positions, and also networking, collaboration, and mentorship, which is some of the parts that we are missing sometimes, that we don't think about academia that way. But it's also the networking, collaboration, and mentorship that education can provide. So in the end, as a summary, is the tools and support. So it's not only the program, so that will be the tools, but also the support around those programs and around that network. Okay, so we can move to the next slide. Fantastic. So here, in more detail, that we're going to see, academia contributes to the empowerment of women in several ways. And these are the ways in which we're going to see. The first one is education, like we were mentioning, because it provides women with access to equality, to quality education and knowledge, which is an essential part for professional and personal development. And also by offering diverse academic programs and opportunities, academia can help women gain the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence, like we were mentioning earlier. The second point will be research and also scholarship. Because the academic institutions, usually we conduct research on gender issues, women's rights, and other relevant topics related to the industry in which each one of the schools is related. And that contributes to a deeper understanding of the challenges that women face and also the potential solutions. Through that research, maybe we can find the solutions to those challenges. And this research that we do in institutions, it can inform policies and initiatives that are going to be aimed at promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. So this is not only the research for the research, but the research with a purpose. Then we have mentorship and support. And many academic institutions offer mentorship, and if they don't, they should. They have mentorship programs and support networks specifically designed for women. Also, there are some organizations that are there to support women, professional women, that you can join, and then you can have that support system as well. So these programs are designed to provide guidance, to provide encouragement, and also networking opportunities. And this is going to help women navigate all the academic, but also professional challenges that they may have. And also when you meet people who have the same challenges as you feel less lonely, you feel less alone, and you find the support. And maybe you find that network of people who are feeling exactly the same way as you. And I think that's empowering, and that's really powerful. And related to the mentorship and support and the people and the networking, one of the things that we have to remember is that we have to have role models. So also sometimes in academia, it can serve as a platform for showcasing successful women scholars or scientists, leaders, and they will serve as role models for the future generations, so they can see, okay, if there is another woman who made it, it's going to be possible for me as well. And I think that here we have a perfect example, which is Chef Binta. That's a fantastic role model for everybody, for future generations. So it's just we need to make sure that we showcase these cases even more in institutions at every single level. So this is why this is an amazing event, and it's wonderfully created. So because this is going to inspire others to pursue their goals and to go through the challenges and to fight the stereotypes about the women's capabilities, because you see that other women have been able to get it. Therefore, it helps you push through and continue. In academia as well, it's about the advocacy and activism, because we mentioned the research and also mentioned the mentorship and the networking and this whole atmosphere that we create, because the academic institutions often, they serve as a hub for advocacy and activism on gender issues. If we do a research about gender issues with some solutions, that research and that solution can activate for something to change, a policy to change, or to move on, to do something. Because it's not only that the faculty members and the students are going to engage in research and teaching and so on, but also about the community outreach to raise the awareness about gender inequality and also to promote this women's rights based on the research that we do. And finally, another way in which academia helps is in policy influence. And this is through the research that we have mentioned, through the advocacy, through the collaboration with policymakers. The academia can influence policies, and they can influence practices that affect the women's rights and the opportunities. Because by providing evidence-based recommendations, the academics can actually contribute to the development of gender-responsive policies in education, employment, and other areas. So if we go to the overall picture, academia is going to play, or plays actually, a critical role in empowering women by providing education, conducting research, offering support networks, showcasing role models, advocating for gender equality, and also influencing policies and practices, which is what we want to achieve in the end. So it's all a whole process. And the last step that we want to get to is to influence policies and practices. And through all of these efforts, the academia contributes to creating a more inclusive and equitable society for women and also for girls who are coming after us. So this is the goal, that we leave something even better for our daughters. So just as a conclusion, so we can move maybe to the last slide, okay? So the previous one, perfect. So it doesn't end with graduation only, and this is a lifelong commitment to breaking barriers, and we have to keep challenging the stereotypes that we have about women's capabilities so that we can create a more inclusive industry. So I think that together, and this is also men, so it's all together we can make a huge difference. So yeah, so we can move on to the last one. So it's a pleasure, and in case you want to discuss a little bit further, or maybe some sort of collaboration or some ideas, here's my contact. But thank you again, and we can do this, and let's enjoy this last the second part of the of the International Women's Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Garindo, for an outstanding presentation. Truly, academia empowers women in tourism through education, research, and support networks, enabling leadership roles and advocating for gender equality. This commitment extends beyond graduation, shaping a lifelong journey towards empowerment in the industry. Thank you very much for this very insightful presentation. And we need to invest more for capacity building and education. We now turn our attention to Mr. Ben Owen, our next speaker, project manager at the Center Stage program at the UN Tourism's Ethics, Cultural, and Social Responsibility Department. Ben, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Good morning, potentially good afternoon, everybody, where you're watching in the world. Bonjour à tout le monde. Ma présentation aujourd'hui sera un mélange entre français pour les francophones, pour vous qui êtes connectés, and English for our English-speaking colleagues. So today I will be presenting to you the Center Stage program. This is the UN Tourism flagship program for capacity building towards gender equality. If you just bear with me, I'll get the presentation up on the screen. Alors aujourd'hui, ma présentation, ça va être sur le programme phare dans le tourisme pour le renforcement des capacités en matière d'égalité des sexes et d'égalité des genres. Mais qu'est-ce que c'est Center Stage? Bon, dans quelques secondes, quand mon ordinateur veut bien fonctionner, on verra. So what is Center Stage? This is something that when my computer will allow me to share this presentation, we will see. So bear with me, I'll just deal with the technical. At the base of what Center Stage program is, it is a one-year program for our member states, during which time the member state will implement an action plan for gender equality. So this happens our member states, which are the ministries of tourism and the other national tourism administrations, along with businesses and civil society actors, work together to implement a one-year action plan for gender equality that will build capacity for us to, as a sector, create more opportunities for women to empower themselves through tourism and create visibility and awareness. I'm just going to try again to share my screen. I apologize about the technical problems having here. There we go. So, Comme je viens de dire en anglais, le programme Center Stage, c'est à la base, c'est un programme de durée d'un an. Il y a un plan d'action de durée d'un an pour l'égalité de genre. Les participants du programme dans chaque pays qui veut joindre dans le programme, c'est le gouvernement, les ministères du tourisme, vous, c'est aussi les entreprises et les associations, les organisations non gouvernementales et les universités et des autres associations comme ça. Là, ça, c'est clé au succès du projet. It is very key to the success of the project, is bringing all of these different strands of our sector together to work together. Et c'est alors tout le monde des entreprises, du gouvernement, des associations, de tous travailler ensemble sur le même but, les mêmes objectifs et sur les mêmes activités. Ça, c'est la clé du succès du programme. Alors, dans le tourisme, c'est ce qu'il y a sur l'écran maintenant. What you can see on the screen now are the actions, the support that UN Tourism provides to all of those participants during the 1 year of the action plan. So, ça, c'est notre rôle. C'est ce qu'on voit sur l'écran maintenant. C'est de donner le soutien aux participants pendant qu'ils implémentent le plan d'action et quelques activités. On a beaucoup des activités pendant toute l'année. The year is full of activities. We certainly keep everybody busy as we go through the year. So the first thing we do is to develop the 1 year action plan. I think the actions on the screen in English for the English speakers, these are the main actions that we do. I'll give some examples. Mais pour les francophones d'entre vous, je vous explique, on développe avec le gouvernement un plan d'action de durée d'un an qui répond de la situation spécifique dans chaque pays. On organise un atelier en personne pour les femmes dans le tourisme dans chaque pays qui participe. On organise une formation de formateurs et formatrices. Ça, c'est une des meilleures parties du programme. C'est fait de manière en ligne. Et c'est des gens qui deviennent formateurs, formatrices pour aller faire les formations de sensibilisation de pourquoi l'égalité des sexes, de pourquoi c'est important de travail social dans des entreprises. On fait aussi des ateliers en ligne. Il y avait beaucoup des États membres africains qui sont participés en 2022 dans quelques ateliers en ligne sur le data, sur les femmes et des autres outils. On a des ressources de formation exclusives pour les participants du programme. Il y a un cours en ligne, il y a des publications et des autres ressources exclusives. Vous, les participants, vous êtes partie d'un réseau mondial des leaders pour l'égalité des sexes. On a des réunions entre les pays différents, entre les entreprises, les gouvernements dans tous les pays qui participent. Et comme ça, on s'échange, comme on fait aujourd'hui, on s'échange des idées, de la connaissance entre nous, de comment ça va avec l'implémentation du plan et de comment on va avancer tous ensemble. Et enfin, mais un des plus importants, c'est la campagne de sensibilisation médiatique et sur les réseaux sociaux qu'on fait pour donner de la visibilité aux femmes du pays qui sont le moteur du secteur et pour et les leaders surtout féminines du pays dans le tourisme. So these are the main actions on your screen that UN Tourism provides to any participating countries, businesses and associations throughout the year as we together implement this 1 year action plan. Now, the 1 year action plan, obviously the aim is to arrive at a point where tourism is gender transformative. This is quite a UN bureaucratic speaky word, but this means that tourism is actually transforming, it has a transformative effect on society. So through tourism, then we are seeing gender equality, getting us closer to gender equality. We want tourism to be working towards that through allowing women to progress higher up in the tourism echelons of professional posts, to open their own businesses, to become financially independent, to own land, all these different things. Tourism has the power to do that, and this program will help governments and businesses to bring us towards that goal. Alors l'impact, je parle maintenant de l'impact global du programme. Les chiffres qu'on a sur l'écran maintenant sont les impacts au moins 150 femmes vont recevoir des formations en personne dans le pays. Au moins 200 entreprises vont recevoir formations sur la sensibilisation de pourquoi c'est important l'égalité des sexes et c'est pourquoi c'est important d'implémenter les mesures, les actions et toute la formation qu'on fait pendant l'année. 5000 personnes vont bien profiter de nos cours en ligne pendant l'année dans le pays. Et il y a la campagne de sensibilisation globale, mondiale, qui est soutenue par ONU Tourisme, mais c'est aussi tout le gouvernement, les acteurs dans le pays, et c'est au niveau national. On fait beaucoup de bruit, on fait une série de vidéos promotionnelles sur les femmes, sur le travail que vous faites et les succès que vous avez. Et les campagnes sur les réseaux sociaux et dans la presse de médias aussi. So these are the impact figures on the screen, as you may have understood there. What we guarantee, these are minimum figures from our experience. And how do we know that we can achieve these with you throughout the year? Because we did a pilot phase in 2022. At the time, this was piloted in Latin America and in the Middle East in 4 countries. And we are delighted this week on today, International Women's Day, to announce that the Center Stage program is now open to all UN tourism member states, specifically African member states. We would love to work with you. If you're from a Ministry of Tourism, if you're from a business in Africa, please get in touch with us to find out if you're interested, how you can participate. Alors, je viens d'expliquer que on a fait la phase pilote en 2022 dans 4 pays et dans les autres régions dans le monde. Et maintenant, aujourd'hui, sur cette journée aussi importante, on est ravis d'annoncer que le programme s'ouvre à tous les États membres dans le tourisme. Alors, si ça vous intéresse de participer dans le programme, surtout les ministères, c'est notre point de principal dans chaque pays. S'il vous plaît, contacte-nous. Alors, voilà, c'est fini. On repasse. Je donne la parole autrefois aux femmes. Et c'est la journée de vous. Pas plus que moi, mais si ça vous intéresse, s'il vous plaît, je vous prie de nous contacter avec l'adresse mail qu'il y a sur l'écran maintenant et de participer dans ce programme qui peut vraiment faire une différence dans le monde, dans les sociétés et surtout dans le secteur touristique dans votre pays. So thank you very much. Please contact us if you're interested in participating. And I'm very delighted now to pass the floor back to my colleagues from UN Tourism. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben, for being today, as always, a he for she. Thank you, because women empowerment is not only for women, but also men, to really drive change in the situation of women in Africa. So your presentation was really very insightful on the pivotal role of Center Stage program driven by UN Tourism in empowering women in the tourism sector through capacity building initiatives and collaborative efforts. So we invite any member states that is interested in embarking in this program to contact us, and we'd be very pleased to give you further information and insight. Now that we have gained valuable insights from our distinguished speakers, it is time to engage in an interactive session. As you know, we have an open chat, so you can share your questions, and we invite you to share your thoughts as well, and our esteemed speakers will be able to respond. So during that time, as we are waiting for questions to be put on the chat, I would like us to really encourage each of us to reflect on the perspective, insights, and experiences shared today, and consider the role that you can play in advancing gender equality and women's empowerment in the tourism sector. As you may know, in Africa, 85% of the population is engaged in informal labor, and 3 out of 4 informal workers are women. Tourism can change the narrative. And I urge each participant to take action. You can commit to one specific action that you can take today to support women in tourism, whether it's advocating for gender-inclusive policies, or creating entrepreneurship opportunities, or investing in human capital development. Every action counts. So let us be catalysts for change in our respective sphere of influence. So let us see the questions that are being put on the chat so that we can respond. I'm waiting for my colleague Robert to send me the questions. Is there any questions, or if not, raise your hand on the screen if I don't see. No questions for now. This is remarkable. So if everything is crystal clear, then we are very happy. It means that we had a very successful webinar. So without any further ado, I will ask our Regional Director for Africa to share her concluding remarks. Ms. Grandcourt, you have the floor. Thank you.
Merci Lydia, merci beaucoup à tous les intervenants. C'est intéressant qu'on n'a pas de questions, mais je pense que tout a été clair et si bien présenté. Permettez-moi tout d'abord d'exprimer ma sincère gratitude à tous les participants, à vous tous qui se sont connectés ce matin, mais notamment les intervenants d'avoir partagé des points pertinents ainsi bien que des initiatives, mais aussi l'importance capitale vraiment d'éduquer et d'investir dans nos femmes et les jeunes filles. Les délibérations d'aujourd'hui, comme vous avez constaté, ont mis en lumière les défis auxquels sont confrontées les femmes dans le secteur du tourisme et souligné l'impératif d'une action unifiée pour corriger les disparités entre les sexes. La présentation des femmes dans la main-d'œuvre touristique en Afrique souligne le rôle essentiel qu'elles jouent dans la croissance et le succès de cette industrie vitale. Mais on sait qu'il y a toujours les défis. L'importance, c'est vraiment qu'on continue à collaborer, comme cela a été bien souligné par les intervenants, de collaborer et de travailler ensemble. J'ai beaucoup aimé lorsque le chef Binta, elle avait dit que, j'exprime en anglais, c'est ce qu'elle avait dit, nurturing and empowering a woman means that you are nurturing and empowering a nation. Et moi, je trouve que ça, c'est très fort Et c'est exactement ça à l'ONU Tourisme qu'on envisage de faire avec tous les projets, les initiatives qu'on est en train de mener tournent autour de ça. Et c'est pourquoi le secrétaire général met l'accent fortement sur tout ce qui a à faire avec l'investissement, avec l'éducation et d'autres encore. Et en Afrique, c'est aussi exactement c'est ce qu'on est en train de faire à travers notre agenda qu'on a. On a travaillé sur ça avec nos pays membres et on a l'élément de l'autonomisation de nos femmes qui est un de priorités de cet agenda. Et comme également Susanna avait souligné que it's a lifelong commitment for us to break the barriers. Et c'est vraiment, sincèrement, je pense que le thématique cette année d'investir et d'accélérer le progrès, c'est vraiment ce qu'on est en train de faire. Et c'est les forums comme le nôtre aujourd'hui qui va nous aider à continuer à promouvoir le message fort qu'on doit toujours soutenir l'un l'autre et d'apprendre de chacun de nous. Donc, je vous remercie tous d'avoir pris le temps aujourd'hui. Je sais qu'on a tous des agendas très chargés, mais le fait que vous avez pris le temps de participer avec nous, de nous écouter, mais la conversation ne termine pas aujourd'hui. Nous, on reste ouverts. On est là. Vous pouvez soit nous joindre par email, soit de suivre les initiatives qu'on est en train de faire, mais la conversation continue. Je vais terminer avec ça en disant que la conversation ne termine pas aujourd'hui, c'est continuel. Donc, n'hésitez pas, on doit toujours rester ensemble afin de pouvoir vraiment pousser nos femmes à arriver sur les autres étapes dont on a parlé aujourd'hui. Donc, encore une fois, un grand merci à l'excellence Madame la ministre, Chef Binta, Susanna, Ben, et vous tous qui se sont connectés aujourd'hui. Once again, happy Women's Day. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
Thank you
Lydia,
very
you may
much.
too.
Yes, thank you very much, Regional Director for Africa, for these wonderful concluding remarks. And it gives us really hope. And as you really beautifully said, women empowerment is one of the key priority area of the UN Tourism Agenda for Africa, Tourism for Inclusive Growth. And you also said that investment and education are key drivers for the empowerment of women. So, and we need concerted collaboration and efforts to really push this agenda forward. And nurturing and empowering a woman means that you will nurture and empower a whole nation. On this final note, I want to say thank you to everyone for connecting online today. Thank you so much for to our esteemed speakers and the team backstage that who is helping us. And now is your opportunity to put your camera and your microphone on to say goodbye and wish all of us a happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Happy
Thank you
Women's
very
Day.
much.
Thank you and happy Women's Day, everybody.
Happy
Thank
Women's Day to
you.
all of
Bye.
you.
Thank
I
you.
wish you all
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank
On
you.
Women's
Bye.
Day.
Thank you,
Happy
dear.
Women's
I'm very
Day.
happy to be here with you.
Really enjoyed
Thank
the
you.
seminar.
Last day.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy to see
Bye-bye.
Laetitia
Bye-bye.
connected. I didn't.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
Thank you.